Straight ahead on WBKB, House Republicans in Michigan pass a series of voting reform bills.
Plus, MSP rolls out a new donation drive, and today is Equal Pay Day. Can you guess how much women are paid compared to men?
You are watching Thunder Bay News Network. WBKB News at 6 starts now.
This is WBKB News at 6. An in-depth look at news, weather, and sports. From hard-hitting news stories to local events, we're there with coverage you can count on. You're watching WBKB News at 6.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Sherry Stewart.
And I'm Tyler Cruz. Michigan House Republicans passed a series of election reform bills that Democrats have called voter suppression laws.
Some of the bills look to limit absentee voters after a nationwide increase in mail-in ballots this past November. Republicans cite a pressing need for election integrity. The bills include more training for clerks and limiting the times that voters can drop their absentee ballots in curbside boxes. Amidst claims the election was stolen from former President Trump, state officials have repeated that the 2020 election in Michigan was secure.
We found that voters on both sides of the aisle embraced the ability to vote absentee and use secure drop boxes to return their ballots. In the end, due in no small part to these reforms, we had the most successful, secure election in our state's history.
Recent data shows 43% of Alpena residents struggle to afford basic needs. In neighboring counties like Alpena, this number gets even higher. United Ways of Northeast Michigan released their most recent ALICE report, focusing on those who are asset limited, income constrained, and employed. 27% of Alpena residents are above the federal poverty line, yet have trouble affording basic household needs like food and utilities. Added with residents in poverty, over 4 out of every 10 residents in Northeast Michigan struggle to feed their families and light their homes.
Making decisions that, do I get my medication or do I put food on the table? Their income doesn't give them the comfort to afford all the basic necessities, and they're living on the edge of a disaster.
Food insecurity is one of the biggest problems this population sees. Gentry says these numbers released are from prior to the pandemic, and he knows they're worse than what was reported. He also says that if you're in need, don't be afraid to ask for help. There are plenty of others just like you.
People in need have to realize they're a bigger part of the population they can imagine. They're not, they're not alone in some of the issues that they face. And there's agencies like the United Way that can help them.
Here's meteorologist Ellie Morrison with a first check of the weather. Ellie, it rained quite a bit today.
And Tyler, we're still seeing some scattered showers and thunderstorms out there. A little bit of lightning recently detected over southern parts of Alpena County. We're seeing that thunderstorm near Ossining moving up towards the north-northeast. So it may in fact raise downtown Alpena as it progresses up towards the north-northeast. Another thunderstorm in the Presqu'Île area that is also moving up towards the north-northeast. We have showers extending along US 23 up towards the Rogers City area. And then farther to the south, a cluster of showers and thunderstorms entering southwestern Alpena County, also moving up towards the north-northeast. We'll keep the chance of some scattered showers continuing in our area over the next couple of hours, and then generally we're going to be drying out as we go into Thursday. Thursday, also the start of some cooler temperatures. This evening, mainly in the middle and lower 50s. We'll be heading down to 40 degrees by the early morning tomorrow, and then highs for tomorrow afternoon near 50. It gets even colder after that. I'll let you know if we could even see a few snowflakes in the area coming up later in the newscast.
Thank you for that, Ellie. We'll see you in a bit. The Alpena Township Board of Trustees is a few steps closer to hiring more fire department staff. Chief Dave Robbins says one potential hire declined an offer citing a family conflict. However, an additional candidate was presented an offer at Monday's board meeting.
So it would be my recommendation to the board, if you please. I would like to offer Matthew a position contingent on him passing the physical and drug screens.
A motion was made, Matt, to offer you a position contingent on the physical, drug screening, and agility test.
Okay.
And unanimously, the board voted yes.
Okay, sounds good.
Matthew Benedict was a fire cadet in Alpena and is already a vested member of the community. The board says they will continue to solicit state colleges, that is, for potential candidates. Meanwhile, the township is continuing talks with the city of Alpena about extending their contract. Next week is the start of Sexual Assault Awareness Month.
This year, through all of April, Michigan State Police is starting a new statewide initiative to benefit sexual assault victims and survivors.
Purses with a Purpose is an initiative that MSP has taken on, and it's to bring awareness to the Sexual Assault Awareness Month, but also being able to provide some basic essentials to those people who are the victims of sexual assault.
Purses with a Purpose initiative collects purses with items that can bring comfort to victims of assault. Simpson says MSP Alpena Post will be sending their purses to one local agency that will give the gifts directly to survivors.
Purses that are donated in Alpena, we're asking that they be new, unused purses, including toiletries, hand sanitizers, face coverings, socks, candy, any other small items that may offer comfort. So we can donate those to the Hope Shores Alliance so they can give those out to those survivors.
If you would like to donate, you can drop off the purses at MSP Alpena Post all April long between the hours of 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. It's a very nice program.
Absolutely.
It started last year.
Yeah.
The state of Michigan has awarded $3.6 million in grant funding to combat invasive species. The grants will support 29 projects across the state. DNR spokesperson Joanne Foreman says the species are in the water and on land. She adds that they're changing the ecosystems and the damage may go unnoticed until it starts to impact the community. Foreman shares how residents' backyards and Michigan's timber industry were previously destroyed.
Probably an example that most everyone remembers is the emerald ash borer. You know, when that came through, an invasive insect, we pretty much lost all of the ash trees in Michigan.
Foreman says they're currently working to save the hemlock trees in Michigan. She adds that Alpena has its own specific problem that's developed within the last 5 to 10 years.
One special area that they're working on is along the waterways with European frogbit. That's an invasive plant that looks like miniature water lilies and it floats on the top of the water.
Foreman says they rely on the community for help. She says get to know what these species look like so you can report it. More information on how you can identify invasives will be posted on our website.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Today, March 24th, marks Equal Pay Day in America. This date symbolizes how far into the year women must work to earn what men earned in the year previous. Because women earn less on average than men, they must work longer for the same amount of pay. The wage gap is even greater for women of color. A report from the Michigan League for Public Policy finds that women in Michigan earn 77 cents for every dollar men earn. Nationally, it's slightly higher, with women earning 82 cents for every dollar earned by men. That's good to know,
That's
too.
very good to know.
And a quick programming note before we head off to break. We are testing a new transmitter tomorrow between 2 and 3 p.m., which will require WBKB to be off the air during this time for approximately 30 minutes. We will remain on cable and dish network during this time period.
There's more news ahead for you here on WBKB. Coming up, it's Next Level Wednesday. Stephanie Minichi heads over to Alpena High School, and meteorologist Ellie Morrison has yours.
This photo, if you have a photo such as nature shots, pics with friends, or interesting sights you see that you would like to send us, email it along with a short description to news@wbkb11.com.
Looks like my new fishing spot.
Yeah. There you go.
Coming up on WBKB News, it's Next Level Friday, and Jake Vanderbrook will have the latest in sports. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Well, we know one of us is looking forward to the weekend. It's actually Next Level Wednesday, not
Right.
Friday. And today, WBKB's Stephanie Minichi heads over to Alpena High School to talk about teaching.
Tate Skiba, thank you for joining me today. So you're a social studies teacher and you've been teaching for about 3 years at Alpena High School. But when you were a kid, what did you want to be?
I always thought as a kid I would end up as a lawyer, maybe some big corporate lawyer in New York or Boston. I thought that was kind of my destiny.
So tell me about the shift from Boston, New York, and then you're back in Alpena.
I went to U of M right out of high school, and it was fun. It was nice to get a taste of what life was like somewhere else. But I figured out fairly quickly that my life here really was pretty good. I enjoyed the small town a lot more than I enjoyed the city. I graduated from college, and actually I graduated a semester early. So I came back to Alpena in between when I graduated and when I wanted to go to law school. And somebody told me, why don't you try substitute teaching to make a little extra money in the few months that you're here? And I said, well, okay, I will. And so I was a substitute teacher for a few months on my off semester. And after a few months of subbing, I said, no, we've got to go back to school. This is what it's got to be.
So was there a magical moment where you said, this is it?
I can't point to one particular moment where a switch flipped. I think I was enjoying myself every day going and being with kids, and I was envisioning